All right, so I watched a movie called Hard Home, and this is about a woman who tracks down a serial killer who killed her daughter, and she makes him go through her little fun house that she's created for him. She's this like architect or something that builds this safe house, and she rigs it in a way where she goes and finds him and takes him back to the house and puts him through these trials. This reminds me heavily of a Saw movie. As you guys know, Saw is my favorite horror franchise. So this one reminds me probably the most of Saw either 3 or 6, where they're like walking from one person like walking from room to room and dealing with things that happened to them in the past. Mostly, I mean, as I said, it could be either, but I would say Saw 3 is the most Jeff's story. This is kind of what this reminds me of, except for Jeff isn't the bad guy. This is the bad guy for sure, like no question. And the person doing it to him, there's absolutely a reason. I mean, the shit he does to the daughter is beyond horrendous. Cuts out her tongue, sets her on fire while she's alive. I mean, just as awful as a human being could be to anybody. Overall, it's whatever. It's not a very good movie, unfortunately. It feels very melodramatic, and I don't like how it's directed. I don't really like how the way it plays out is it's all just kind of like very typical for dramatic sake. I did like the lead character though, our female. I thought she gave a good performance. I thought I dug her. I thought that she brought a lot to the film, as far as like, that's the only thing that was really interesting about the movie to me. That was the only thing that was working. Most everything else just kind of felt cheap and rushed. But the film has like okay production value, but it still feels amateur. So it's like they have money but no talent. So anyway, I did like the main girl, and the guy that plays the villain I've seen plenty of times in other movies. Many times. He's almost always a villain. But the girl in this, the mom, I think she's very believable as like the jaded, angry mother. I think she brings the right level of intensity to things. She brings a physicality to it that feels genuine. The matchup between her and him, I think that plays pretty well, because she's like trained in jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I think. And, he's a psychotic male serial killer. And when they go head to head, I think it's a pretty even battle. So like the believability of her and how she is going about this, and her performance, I thought was solid. I think that's the good moment, like the good part of the film. And pretty much everything else I could do without. I don't really care. There's a little catharsis in the film for sure. So if you're somebody who likes these movies where somebody's getting revenge on somebody terrible for like most of the film, this is not anything new, of course. We've seen this plenty of times, but that's the primary focus of the film. But there's just something missing here. I'm not 100% sure exactly what it is for sure, but I do know that while I was watching it, I was like, this just isn't a very good movie. So that's that. I mean, I don't really have much to say about this one. I kind of said what I have to say, but it's not a recommendation. But I'll give the credit where it's due, and for her, all good. But everything else I could do without. All right, guys, that's that. Bye.